Ask the Dads segment of the podcast. And on today, we're going to be talking about Mario E. If you have 30 days of no internet, no social media, I guess no email either, just no internet at all, how would you, as the father of your household, how would you go about that?
Wow.
Now, we lived in a time that it was no internet.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah. So I'll say this first. It's so much that goes on or whatever, and you see people glued to their phones and stuff, and so this particular question, and I'll just kind of tell you how it started. It got inspired to me from the discussion I was having with a coworker, and they were kind of saying, hey, what would we do if something were to happen where the infrastructure were to go down, and what would we do for 30 days with no internet, no cell phone, no iPads, iPods, and all these different types of things? What would we do as a society? And I sit there and I contemplated that, what would we do? Because we've been so dependent on electronics for so many years now. I can't remember, but it seems like it's so long that, the internet has been so much of a part of our lives that, it's almost to the point where like you can't live without it, right?
Yeah.
But, one of the things I would say that if that were to happen, I think for my family and I, we try to spend some time together anyway. We try to spend a lot of time together, doing different things. I think it would be definitely more of that. Probably having dinner all together at one time, at the table, not just, you cook the food and everybody kind of, does their own thing, because that tends to happen sometimes in our house.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would happen more. I think we would probably have more guided, well, I'm not going to say guided, but more critical conversations, instead of it just happening organically. It will probably have to be, like almost all day, you know what I mean? So I think that would be something good. I definitely have more time to read and do those types of things. But I think it would definitely be something for families to kind of grow and get closer together again. Because I think, a lot of times in families that's missing. Because we're all glued to whether TikTok or, Facebook or Snapchat or Twitter or whatever the case may be. We're so caught up in YouTube and all these different things. And I'm not poo-pooing any of those things because, they all serve their purpose and they have their place. But maybe sometimes it's too much of that. There's an imbalance there, I'd say. And we probably need to have more family time. And you just have to, and without that, you wouldn't have to look for opportunities to create it. It would just automatically happen as it used to, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think 30 days without that stuff. I think some families, they would probably be pulling their hair out after an hour. Others, maybe after a week. But I think overall, society may get closer and get better. For some of these families, and that would be, a good thing. It's probably not a bad idea to try that. I haven't seen the documentary, The Social Dilemma. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. I haven't seen it, but I've seen parts of it. And I want to go back and finish it, but I saw that there was a clip in there where the mother and the father, they wanted to do that type of experiment, and they put their phones, it was the mother and the father, and then it was the 3 kids, and they put their phones in like one of these containers to where you had to have a timer to open it. Like it would shut it would, the the container would not open again until like 24 hours later, whatever you set the time to. And it was plastic though. And I saw the clip where this little girl, the youngest daughter, she basically took like a hammer and busted it open after like 10 minutes because she couldn't live without her phone. And, you know, we look at that and we say, wow, that's terrible. You know, how dare that? But that's what some of these kids are going through now because they live on their phones. Everything is on their phones. And it's I don't know. It's unfortunate. We probably need to figure out ways to get our families back for sure, I think.
It brings my
mind.
What
do you think? What would you do?
It brings my mind back to, you know, me and you, we talked about dieting and eating right. And we both talked about the benefits of, you know, losing weight and exercising. And we talk about how when you're eating cleaner foods, you feel better. And that's kind of what I think about when I'm thinking about this. And in a way, when you're eating that food, you're detoxing, right? But like, do we need a detox from social media, the internet? You know, and I thought about that. And honestly, it's me, my wife, and my son here at the house. But every so often, Jonah will get on his iPad and he will just want to watch it all the time. And it gets to a point where it's like he becomes zombie baby. And it's like, I have to take it away from him. You know what I'm saying? And lock it up. And I do it for days where he won't be able to get on it. And like now, he's either watching TV or he's like playing with his toys or he's kind of doing both. And like now that I've been home, you know, for most of the summer or whatever, especially this last week, I can tell like he really hasn't watched his iPad much at all. It's really been playing with toys and stuff like that. And I think that type of behavior is better than being on the iPad. I'm just gonna be honest. Like it's good for them going. They have educational things on there sometimes, but our kids need that real playtime. They need that social interaction with people, not necessarily social media interaction. And I've done it before myself with just taking a break from social media. Can't do it as much anymore. You know, with the podcast and stuff, we try and keep everything up to date, try and keep content out there for everybody to view and listen to. So I'm not able to do it like I used to, but I used to get to a point, man, where I just needed a break.
Right.
I would just delete the apps from my phone because, and I don't have anything against it, but it can be poison to your mind as a person when you're constantly looking at what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is talking about. And I'm telling you, that stuff that people are showing on social media, man, it is just, it's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real life stuff. I mean, people on there, a lot of people act like they're happy, and I'm like, you're not happy. When you see them in person and you have a real conversation with them, they're not happy.
Yeah.
But on social media, that's the thing, is to show everybody that I'm happy. And made me think about like a comment or look like a verse that Kanye said, and he said the highest people up got the lowest self-esteem. And that stuck with me for so long, even to this day. That verse that he said, it just stuck to me because it's like, really, the higher people are up, sometimes the more followers they get and the more likes they get on social media, the lonelier they feel.
Yeah.
So
It's a
I
drug.
definitely, could we do it? Yeah, I think we could. Would it be a little bit harder not being able to look at your email, not being able to just see what's going on social media, not being able to necessarily text friends, just communicate through land phones and stuff like that? I think it would be an adjustment. If we had to go back, I think we could. But our kids, I think they're the ones that's in danger when it comes to this, because they have, and it's like it's becoming an addiction in a lot of ways. But I can identify with it. Jonah's watching his iPad and he's watched it too much. I just take it away, and now he's not like dependent on it. If I definitely had a 30-day shutdown or something, I mean, we'd probably be outside all the time. He would go to his friend's house more, and we try and do that anyway, because I know what going outside as a child did for me. So, we try and take him out. We try and take him to the pool. We try and go out riding. Just don't want him to be stuck in the house. And, like we talked about before in the last podcast, him being a well-rounded kid. I want him to be able to experience outside. I want him to be able to go to the creek, and we used to go catch crayfish, man. That's what we used to do.
Yeah.
And just have fun. I mean, it's a lot of, nature offers a lot of good things for our kids that sadly enough kids are not getting today. And with the pandemic last year, I can tell from the kids that I've known, it's changed them so much. Not being able to have that face-to-face interaction, even the simple thing of touch and shaking somebody's hand, we're not able to do that anymore. And I think even from a health standpoint, it's hurt our kids. Kids have gained, you can see it. Kids have gained so much weight over the pandemic. And sadly, it's going to be hard for kids that have gained a substantial amount of weight over that last year. They may not, unless they get serious and focus on it, they probably won't lose that weight back and get back to the size that they were at. And I'm just concerned about the long-term health concerns for our kids starting off this early in life so unhealthy. So I know that's a lot, but that's just how my thought process went with it.
Yeah. It's we're in uncharted territory because this new age of social media and electronics, to the point where all these different things you can do. Our parents, and their parents, they didn't have those type of technological advances that we've had. And so we're trying to raise children in an era where all of this is also new to us, and so it's so difficult, when you have adults that are addicted to their phones and addicted to their iPads and addicted to, how many likes they have on Instagram, and then they're raising kids to do the same thing, to have the same things. And so it's uncharted territory, man. It's times were much simpler once upon a time, right? But things aren't necessarily like that now. And yeah, it is good. I've done social media types of like kind of getting away from it for like a week or so. I've definitely done that, but I have never done my phone for a week.
Yeah.
So because that would be. Could we do it? Sure. It'll go back to how things used to be, but it's pretty difficult, I'd say, even for me to unplug altogether for a week. But
yeah, because that's the
what you said about your son.
It's the source of contact.
And so what you said about your son is Yeah, it is. It is. And I can relate so much to what you were saying about Jonah, and being on the iPad and all that stuff. You know, I've definitely seen it with my kids as well. You know, because it offers so much entertainment, and sometimes, unfortunately, for parents, it can be a babysitter. To be honest and say it can be a babysitter. Yeah. You know, if it's in the middle of the day and you just don't feel like dealing, you can say, hey, take that iPad. You go over there and, you know, you put the little checks and balances on there so they not getting in anything crazy, but, you know, let them be on YouTube Kids or something like that. And sometimes you let it be a babysitter to you, and that's not good though. Mm-hmm. You know, I think all parents have been guilty of that. But like I said, we're in uncharted territory right now, and hopefully, you know, this is the whole purpose of why we wanted to have, you know, the Dad Rules podcast, to be able to help people, and you know, hopefully we can all help each other with this, because it's definitely a thing, you know, where kids now are getting exposed to certain things. I mean, kids now, you think about it. I'm gonna go there, but it used to be that with pornography, you had one way to get pornography. That was through a dirty magazine, you know, that you had to go buy at a store, you know, and that's how you got it, right? Yeah. Then it became, you know, on video or whatever and stuff like that, DVD. Now you have access to pornography on your phone.
Yeah.
And that is so easily accessible, and everybody's phones nowadays got passwords on it, and you just have to be careful, you know, with your kids.
You definitely do.
You know, telling them what's right, what you shouldn't be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and they have access to that now. Yeah. You know, they have access to that, and you have to definitely put into them what's the right thing to do, what's not the right thing to do. And, you know, and just lead and guide them, and, you know, definitely monitor what they are on, what sites they're on, and what things they're getting exposed to.
And it used to be channels.
And so
it used to be channels that you could trust. But now you might have your child watching Nickelodeon, and they are sending the wrong message to your kids through the TV shows that they might watch. Or, I mean, you just don't know. You don't know, because there's a lot of messages.
Yeah, they slip adult jokes in in those kids shows now.
Yeah.
If you notice it, if you've ever watched, I'm not gonna call some of them by name, but if you watch some of these kids shows, they slip adult jokes in there.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are inappropriate. Some of them are kind of borderline. Some of them are just ha, you know, because they know the parents are watching, and, you know, they got to make the parents laugh every now and again. But sometimes you have to be careful, because they're slipping adult jokes in these kids shows, adult content in kids shows. So you have to be careful.
And they're trying to persuade them in their thinking, how they want them to think, and not. And a lot of times that's not aligned on how you're raising them and what your thoughts and your morality. It doesn't line up with your beliefs and your morality. So yes, it's definitely something that we have to monitor. I definitely would not. I don't let Jonah just sit there and just watch stuff for hours. I don't know what's going on. Like, you have to, and you definitely have to cut down the amount of time that they're watching it. You're like, hey man, you need to, go do something else. You know, like right now, you probably can hear you playing drums right now. So like, that stuff makes me feel good. It's like, okay, your TV may be on, but you're not just sitting there. You're doing other stuff. You know, so you know, that's good. But do you have anything else on the topic?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we thank you guys for listening. It's Mario E and Kid. We're signing out.